OG, Ice-T, original gangster. Now, when I seen you earlier, I thought you was throwing up gang signs at me, but I found out it was just your arthritis.
You know, big boy, I never really had a problem so much with the cops as people think, you know, even though I did cop killing and stuff like that, because we were real live criminals.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
We didn't hate the police were the opponent.
Hollywood eats up a rise to the top story, but it gets even hungrier tearing one down. Back in the 90s, Ice-T wasn't just spitting rhymes. He went from a gangsta rap trailblazer to a legit movie star, then became the face of one of TV's most iconic crime shows. He showed the whole world that hip-hop could run the big screen just like it runs the streets. But then, the vibe shifted. Now Snoop Dogg is dropping a bomb. Hollywood wishes stayed buried, and it might just explain why Ice-T slipped out of the movie spotlight without a big scene. Let's piece together Snoop's cryptic warning and Ice-T's sudden step back from the Hollywood grind. When most folks think of Ice-T today, they see Detective Fintu Tuola on Law & Order SVU, a role he's been holding down for over 20 years straight. It's been steady work, solid checks, and a fan base that rides with him no matter what. But people tend to forget that before SVU, Ice-T was climbing in Hollywood films. From his breakout in New Jack City to his fire performances in cult classics like Trespass and Ricochet, he was paving the way as one of the first rappers truly embraced by the big screen machine. Then, almost out of nowhere, the momentum hit a wall. Movie roles started drying up, his appearances in theaters got fewer and farther between, and Ice-T seemed to shift gears toward other hustles. On the outside, it looked like a natural career move. But Snoop Dogg hints there's a way darker reason. Over the years, Snoop's dropped gems about how Hollywood really works, calling it a game where you either play by their rules or get benched. He's warned about the industry's fake love, the kind that lifts you high when you're hot, but tosses you aside the second you don't fit their picture-perfect story anymore. Some fans swear Snoop bent the knee to the very machine he now throws shade at, but Ice-T? He was never built to play nice with the gatekeepers. This man's music didn't just flirt with controversy, it stomped right into the lion's den. His bars went toe-to-toe with authority. His truth talk made front-page headlines. And in the early 90s, the infamous cop killer uproar had him dead center in the crosshairs of politicians, police unions, and every conservative outlet you could think of. Hollywood was already side-eyeing rappers back then, so Ice-T's refusal to water down his mez. Let's start with the first smoking gun, political pressure. Back in '92, Ice-T dropped Cop Key way both sides lined up. This wasn't, but Ice-T didn't back down. Not for a second. He clapped right back, saying the only folks mad at Cop Killer were racists and brutal cops. That kind of bold talk kept his name hot in the streets and in the hip-hop world, but in the eyes of Hollywood's power players, he was becoming a walking PR nightmare. And there was another problem brewing. Typecasting. From New Jack City to Trespass, Ice-T's early film career was packed with roles that fed straight into his gangster rap image. Criminals, hustlers, and rule-breaking cops. It gave him that gritty edge at first, but it also locked him into a lane. And in Hollywood, once they put you in a box, they don't exactly hand you the key to get out. As the years passed, those parts dried up. Movie execs started looking elsewhere, and Snoop himself has admitted how brutal it is for rappers to escape those street roles once they hit the big screen. If you don't play the game, if you don't let them reshape your image to fit their clean-cut narrative, the phone stops ringing, and the offers vanish. Let's keep it real. Hollywood ain't just about who's got the talent. It's about politics, connections, and knowing how to move inside the power circle. Ice-T was never that industry insider type. He wasn't born into those elite circles, didn't cozy up at champagne-soaked after-parties, and he's openly said he's not here for the fake friends routine. In a business where handshakes and backroom deals decide your fate, that's the quickest way to find yourself iced out, watching the party from the sidewalk while the doors stay locked. And when you start piecing it all together, you can see a pattern clear as day. But here's where the story gets messy. Snoop Dogg has styled himself as the wise OG, always warning young artists about Hollywood's traps. Yet not everybody's buying the act. Plenty of fans are calling out how Snoop might just be the best player the Hollywood game has ever seen. We're talking big money endorsements, flashy commercials, endless mainstream TV appearances, from whipping up recipes with Martha Stewart to popping up in family-friendly blockbusters. He's built an empire by saying yes to deals that most hardcore rappers back in the day would have called straight-up selling out. Scroll through social media and you'll see it. Plenty of people calling Snoop the last guy who should be. Yep. This is the same Snoop who spent years roasting Trump and even threatening to cut off other rappers who dared to endorse him. For context, rewind back to 2011 when Snoop pulled up to Comedy Central's roast of Donald Trump. And let's be real, even with a stage packed full of professional comedians, Snoop walked away as the night's undisputed. Fast forward to 2015 when Trump announced his presidential run, Snoop went full scorched earth. He clowned him at every opportunity, telling his millions of fans to ride with Hillary instead. And when Trump actually took the win, Snoop didn't hold back. He jumped on Instagram and dropped a screenshot of a text thread where someone told him, "Amazing! The zombies of the US really came up and made it happen." He made it crystal clear. Back then, Trump was public enemy #1 in Snoop's book. President Trump? Wow, never held a single government job in his life. What a world! That was Snoop's reaction. And he didn't stop there. He threw in a slick little jab, replying, "Only in America." Then came the bigger move. Snoop hinted he was ready to bounce from the US altogether. He posted a pic of Drake's hometown of Toronto with the caption, "My new home. Drake, I need the hookup on some property, nephew. F this ish. I'm going to the 6. But that was just the pregame. Snoop doubled down and put out an open threat, saying he'd roast any black artist who dared perform at Trump's inauguration. And then, in March 2017, he took things nuclear with the music video for Lavender. In the clip, Snoop is seen aiming a toy gun at a clown dressed up as Trump, a move that instantly lit up headlines worldwide. The backlash was brutal, and not just from diehard Trump fans. Trump himself jumped on social media to clap back. He blasted Snoop, calling his career failing, and even suggested he should be locked up. Trump tweeted, "Can you imagine the outcry if Snoop Dogg, failing career and all, had aimed and fired the gun at President Obama? Jail time." Snoop didn't back off an inch. In a Billboard interview, he claimed he wasn't chasing controversy, just keeping it real. He said America was drowning in clownish behavior, so it only made sense for his video to reflect that. But here's where jaws hit the floor. Fast forward to today, and Snoop's out here praising Trump like they've been cool all along. In an interview with the Sunday Times, he dropped a bombshell that left fans stunned. His words? "Donald Trump, he ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump." That wasn't just a casual shift, it was a full 180. And Snoop didn't stop there. Back in January, he even hit the stage at the inaugural Crypto Ball, an event straight up tied to celebrating Trump's inauguration. For someone who once swore they'd roast any artist who cozied up to Trump, this was a move that had people saying, "Wait, what?" And that's when the internet lit up. Fans flooded timelines calling Snoop's flip the biggest Hollywood U-turn they'd ever seen. One minute he's aiming toy guns at Trump, the next he's smiling on stage at an event tied to him. It didn't make sense. Some even started digging, wondering if this wasn't about politics at all, but business. Because let's be real, Trump's circle is deep in the worlds of money, real estate, and private deals. And Snoop? He's no stranger to securing a bag when the opportunity's there. Whispers started spreading that maybe, just maybe, the man who once vowed to never sell out was now playing the same game he used to warn others about. The debate got so loud that even old interviews started resurfacing. Clips of Snoop warning young rappers about industry traps were now being stitched with his glowing praise for Trump. The contrast was wild. It had people asking, was this growth or just survival in a cutthroat business where loyalty comes second to opportunity? The feeling of betrayal was real. Longtime fans, people who had ridden with Snoop since the Doggy Style days, were suddenly questioning if they even knew the man they'd been supporting for decades. Comment sections were full of hurt, disbelief, and straight-up anger. "This ain't the Snoop we grew up on," one user wrote. while another said, "He's Hollywood now, not the streets." Memes started flooding the feed, side-by-side pics of Snoop in lavender aiming that toy gun, next to him shaking hands and smiling at Trump-linked events. Some even labeled it "from protest to payout," and it went viral fast. It wasn't just random social media voices either. A few podcasters and culture critics began openly calling Snoop's move a calculated rebrand. They claimed he'd traded in his rebel image for a more corporate-friendly one, the kind that opens doors to billion-dollar rooms, but shuts the door on the people who once saw him as a voice for the culture. For some, this wasn't just a career pivot, it was a message. In today's Hollywood, even your heroes can flip the script if the price is right. And let's not forget, this is the same guy who once called other rappers Uncle Toms for siding with Trump. Yet here we are, Snoop officially rocking the Trump supporter label. And while he's cozying up to that circle, he's still out here trying to school Ice-T on what moves he should have turned down? The irony writes itself. Ice, on the other hand, stood firm from the jump. When it comes to Trump, he's made it crystal clear. He's not voting for anyone with a criminal record. His exact words? He's got more effing felonies than all my criminal friends put together, and doesn't even have an ankle bracelet on. It just shows you how this country is operated and run. That's Ice in a nutshell. Blunt, unfiltered, and unwilling to bend for the sake of politics or a paycheck. So when you lay Ice-T's journey next to Snoop's, it's like two completely different survival guides for the entertainment game. Snoop stayed in the spotlight, constantly reinventing himself. Music, TV, commercials, cooking shows, and yes, even cashing checks from Trump. Ice? He stayed solid, refusing to play by Hollywood's rules, even if it meant walking away from the table entirely. Meanwhile, Ice made his choice. He walked away from certain rooms, swerved around Hollywood politics, and built a career he could run on his terms, from the inside out. Sure, that meant sacrificing some of that big screen spotlight, but it also meant no one could pull his strings. It's like watching two OGs go toe-to-toe with the same machine, but playing completely different hands. One mastered the game to stay on the board, the other stepped back before the game could flip the script on him. So here's the question. How do you feel about Snoop telling Ice-T he should have passed on certain roles? Was he dropping real advice? Or just talking from the comfort of his own Hollywood seat? And what's your take on the real reason Ice-T's movie career hit the brakes? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear them. I post new videos every week, digging deep into the hidden truths and secrets of your favorite celebrities. Don't miss out, and I'll see you in the next one.